Kevin Hunter here on the Business Forum Show, and my special guest is Robert Bauman from Fanfare Promotions, and you can find Robert on the web at fanfarepromotions.com, or you can call the office at 763-576-0195. Well, first of all, welcome to the show, Robert.
Welcome, Kevin. I appreciate you having me today.
Well, it's great to have you here. So, visit about what Fanfare Promotions is and what you do.
Fanfare Promotions is a promotional products and marketing agency. We've been around now since 1998.
Mm-hmm.
My part in the company is I'm co-owner and do most of the sales on the outside sales and a lot of the ideas for our clients.
Gotcha. So, you started this roughly 20 years ago, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We're almost old enough to drink.
So talk about your partner in business and why did the two of you decide that you wanted to do this?
Well, my partner in business is John Fogel, and we'd met sometime when we were kids working at a restaurant, and we'd worked together at restaurants through our careers. We've been friends ever since. We both left the General Electric company at the same time and thought, you know what, it's pretty natural. We might as well try something else together. So here we are.
Mm-hmm. So when you think about the 20 years, there have to be a lot of interesting stories and things that happen over that time. Any special challenges or struggles you've run into?
Yeah, well, a couple of guys originally from the steam turbine power plant segment business rolling into a marketing and advertising business took a lot of going back to school, doing a lot of different things so we can bring ourselves up to speed on what it really takes to assist our clients and making them more successful.
Well, you mentioned starting this business and you didn't have 5 minutes of marketing experience between the two of you. So how do you start something like this? Because that's actually a great story. A lot of people jump into business because, I'll just take that as an example. A carpenter working for a contractor will say, I can do this better than my boss. And I'm sick and tired of working for him. And, the work comes and goes and comes and goes. And they have this little feast and famine thing. So they're going, well, I can do a better job. And they'll go out and work for themselves. And they know the construction side of it, but running the business is a whole different animal altogether. But for you, I'm guessing you guys had more business background, but you had to learn your process. So what turned you on to the marketing promotion stuff?
Yeah, I was leaving General Electric, or we both were, and I'd really never even looked for a job before. I'd been there for 20 plus years already in my career, and I had a mentor in life who really needed some product, knew I needed to do some work. But I think my mentor was smart enough to know that actually probably getting into a business that I knew nothing about might lead me into more success in the end, just for the fact is we just got done talking about that personal piece.
Yeah.
I didn't have that getting in the way.
Yeah.
I was just plain pure and simple, didn't know anything about it. So if I went out and got the right education, seen the right people, I should be able to take care of myself in that.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, there's one piece that you wrote down here that I have to comment on. We always ask people, what advice they have for other business owners, and you said you're not so great at giving advice, but understanding the tax laws or hiring somebody to do that for you. There's a lot of different things in business that, let's just take a plumber as an example. He's a master plumber, but he's not a master marketer, and he's not a master accountant, and he's not a master contract writer, but yet those are all things that they have to do. What parts in your business did you discover very quickly? Hey, that's not my area of expertise. I need to have somebody else do that.
Well, my partner John kind of handles a lot of the analyticals. So he handles the book work and a lot of the taxes. We also have a CPA that overlooks all this. Pardon me. But there are so many rules and regulations to running a business out there. If you want to keep your mind on running your business, you need to have the rest of it going for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, we've all seen it. You'll spend 7 days a week, 24 hours a day trying to get the little details done. Or in other words, in the end, it's a guy out there that owns a company called Greg Mazzullo owns a company called Performa, and he'll tell you, what, the $20 an hour work needs to go over there, and you need to keep the $200 an hour work right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what we tried to live as we started learning through this.
We were talking about before the show here, because there's a lot of ways that people market in their organizations that are broken and that aren't really producing results for them. And one of which I'll pick on is the old famous flyers that businesses like to send out. And they spend tens of thousands of dollars on these with very little or next to no results. And for some reason, it makes them feel good to just mail out all this stuff and think people are responding. But you've had a chance to sit across the desk from some of these people. and help them understand a little bit more about how you mentioned random acts of kindness. So using a promotional product or a gift or something to give to people to remember you by. How do you overcome that situation where somebody's thinking my flyer still works even though we know they clearly don't, and positioning another marketing tool in their hands to say, what do you think about trying this? How do you overcome that?
Well, I think, a lot of times when they call me, when we get there, I said, well, you've called me for a reason.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got some questions that you'd like answered, and we'll do our best. But sometimes, actually, that's still a piece of their marketing when we're finished.
Sure.
But, to have the open-mindedness to take a look at something new, and if we've got, we're not guessing at this, so if we put the right homework behind it that says, other companies across the United States do this, they execute it in this fashion, and the results are this.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a big part of it that's our job, and there's also a big part of it that's the client's at the end. And you have to make that decision from both sides is, I'm going to put this much together for you, but this much work of this is yours.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'd mentioned before that, getting out of the ways of ourselves, whether it's myself doing research. There's a lot of times I love a product that in the end I look at it and go, it's not the right piece for my client.
Mm-hmm.
So for both open-minded about taking a look at the facts,
mm-hmm.
because the facts are some companies just do a lot better than others, and there's reasons why.
What about for somebody who has a personal preference? So let's say they get the promotional products idea, but you mentioned about the guy who says, hey, I want to have the 32-ounce big gulp, whatever. And that's not necessarily what people want to tote around. How do you help them get their personal preferences out of the way from what the norm might actually want? And we're just about out of time. So.
I bring out analogies real quick, okay? So I talk to them, and even if they're not a Caribou user or something, but I bring out the analogies of them to take a look around and see what their clients are using.
Mm-hmm.
What's on their desk? What's in their car? What are they using? Because if it's important to them, it's important to you.
Exactly.
So, thank you very much.
Kevin Hunter here on the Business Forum Show. My special guests have been Robert Bauman from Fanfare Promotions.com. Again, that's fanfarepromotions.com. And the number is 763-576-0195. Again, 763-576-0195. Again, Kevin Hunter here on the Business Forum Show. My special guest is Robert Bauman. Thanks for listening.